everyone, and welcome to Blue Lagoon Resources Live Investment Summit today, hosted by Six. Today, we're joined by Rana Vig, Blue Lagoon's CEO, and today he's going to walk us through his company presentation, after which we'll move to the live Q&A session, where we'll be accepting and answering some questions. You can submit your questions using the Q&A panel found on the right-hand side of your screen at any time. And as always, this summit is being recorded, and it'll be available to watch afterwards on Six.com. So without further ado, Rana, I'm going to hand it over to you to take it away.
Well, thanks very much, Cameron. Thanks for hosting this. I really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. It's great to be here and share our story with you. We're very excited. For those of you who have seen this before or seen some of my presentations before, hopefully you'll get a nice update. And for those of you who are viewing this for the first time, I'm going to share the story with you and then take it from there. And of course, before we get started, just the traditional disclaimers. You could go to our website. Our presentation is there, and you can read the forward-looking statements there and learn all about it. So, look, Blue Lagoon Resources. There are three keys to our project, and that's what's really exciting about it. Number one, we're near-term production, and when I say near-term, I really mean truly near-term. We are just literally, in our opinion, months away from getting this into production. See this project, we acquired it called Dome Mountain. We acquired it just about 14 months ago. Wonderful people. They had spent $28 million before we got there, all in development, infrastructure, and permitting. And which is one of the keys. You know, it takes 20 years to get a permit in British Columbia, and this project already has a permit. But unfortunately, you know, they literally ran out of time to finish the project because they're 83 years old and not in the best of health. So along we came. There was only $2 million that were required in order to get this back into production. Those are the three amendments that were required. We've deployed the $2 million already. We've finished all the underground bolting that was required. That was a little over $500,000. We finished the water treatment plant, which was a major milestone for this project that was needed, and we finished it. In fact, as we speak, they are running the final trials, full-scale trials on the water treatment plant right now, and we expect that to wrap up tomorrow. And then within a couple of weeks, we'll have the results back. We're not expecting any surprises. We've already run the preliminary trial before. And then once we have that, we will take that data, not only submit it to the ministry, but also submit it to ERM, which is responsible for the third amendment, which is updating the reclamation plans. And we expect all of that to be complete by the end of August. And then we'll submit that to the ministry. And in the next approximately 120 days, we should be getting the green light to move forward. So we're very, very excited about that. In fact, you know, the interesting thing is that we also have about more than 6,000 tons of mineralized material sitting in the tunnel. You can see it here. This is and we started actually trucking it out. This is one of the first trucks that went out to the mill. We have already a toll milling agreement with Nicola Mining, which is a state-of-the-art milling facility in Merritt, British Columbia. And as of last week, we started sending trucks out. We sent out 15 trucks of mineralized material there last week. We're going to send another 15 this week. We're going to continue that until we move all of that material out of the tunnel. So that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to show everybody that we're actually executing on everything that I've been talking about, that we're doing, and we're moving closer and closer to making that production decision. And number two, it's going to bring back money back into the treasury, which is always great and puts a smile on any CEO's face. So we're excited about that, to be receiving some funds back from this material that's been sitting there for years. Now, this is not a stockpile material, or excuse me, this is not a tailings. This is actually material, or from the mine, from the tunnel, that we're going to be shipping out. So we're very excited about that. So as I said, there's three keys to this project. Number one, truly near-term production. Number two, we have a clear path to 1 million plus ounces of for our resource, and I'm going to show you what our path is to that. And number three, there's a tremendous amount of blue sky beyond just that, because there's 15 known high-grade veins beyond our main Boulder vein, plus 90% of the property that has never been explored, and I'll share that with you as well. So if we take a look at where we are, for those of you who don't know, we're just outside the town of Smithers. which is in northern British Columbia, and we have two properties. In fact, when we negotiated this deal to acquire this project, we also acquired this project here called the Big Onion, which is a big copper porphyry. And but I'm not going to talk too much about that. You know, with copper getting up to all-time highs, we're going to definitely figure out a way to monetize that. But at this time, we're going to just leave that alone. This is only 20 minutes away from the town of Smithers. All year round, we can drive to it. Then, as we go a little bit further, we can see here. This is our main project, which is the Dome Mountain. This is less than an hour away. So we're only about 50-minute drive. Once again, all year round, we can get there and access that very easily. That's important for a couple of reasons. One is cost control. You don't have to fly in with helicopters or put expensive camps out there. And number two, it really gives us the ability to retain great talent. We're so fortunate that we've been able to attract senior people who've worked for major mining companies, who've put their time in, who are in their mid 50s or late 50s, and they don't want to be out in the bush anymore. They want to be close to family. So we've been able to attract this great talent that allows them to work for us and bring all their wealth of their experience, as well as be able to have a quality of life and be with their families every night for dinner. And then if we look at the topography, you can see here. It's a forest, pretty much forest land. You can see the forest companies active. Here are the clear cuts that you can see. Here's the main road that drives that comes right through our property, that's maintained by the Forest Services companies, and we're right here. These little red dots, and this little area here, about 3 kilometers, is a small road that we maintain, and that's it. The little red dots is where our mine is, and the other veins are. As you can see up here, all this area has was never explored, and we flew the first ever airborne survey on this property last year, and it was just amazing. The whole thing just lit up. I mean, it was just incredible, and everybody was scratching their head thinking, "Wow, how come no one knew about this before?" And predominantly it was because the private company was very focused on what they wanted to do, which was to try to get this mine into production. And of course, they were in a very bad market. And kudos to them that they raised $28 million still in that market, and put all that development and infrastructure and permitting work in. If we now hone in and zoom in onto these the little red dots, we can see a little bit more about talk a little bit about the resource that we currently have. The little diamond here that you see, this is where the current portal is. The solid red line is where our current resource is, and we have a nice little starter resource of a couple 100,000 ounces in both indicated and in inferred. It grades about 12 grams a ton, so very nice high grade. We also have about 1 million ounces of silver. There's approximately a 1-to-4 gold to silver ratio here, which is very nice. And of course, with prices of silver where they're going, and some people believe that silver is going to even outperform gold. So that's going to be very, very interesting for us, and certainly give us a lot to cheer about. Okay, so this current this yellow line that this is where the current resource is, and if we look at to the west here, this dotted line, this is where this is 800 meters where in 2016 where the the last drilling was done. And if we look at the cross section, we can see here, this is the area here that I'm talking about, and we can see here the drilling that was done in 2016. And you can see these are the drill holes. These are all mineralized, and that's what's exciting. And the only reason why it's not in any kind of a category, of course, is because it hasn't been drilled enough. So this is our low-hanging fruit. All we have to do is go drill this out, and we are very confident that we'll easily double our resource to somewhere around 400,000 and half a million. And then there's the depth. This is open at depth. And if you look at the handful of holes that were drilled deeper, this is all high grade. And if you look at the chart here to the left, you can see it's all high grade. And this was only done somewhere around 150, 160, 170 meters, 80 meters in depth. So we went deeper. We went to the deepest point. You can see here in the news release that we put out in January, over 300 meters. We went deep, and we hit 3.13 meters, almost 18 grams gold and over 70 grams silver. So that gives us a lot of confidence that as we go deeper, that we can once again add significant ounces to the resource. And then there's the eastern part, right here that we drilled. Again, very exciting. If we look at this image here, you can see right here, these are the drill holes, that we put in, and you can read in the news releases. Again, we hit high-grade gold. But what's very interesting is this mag feature right here that was identified in the airborne that I talked about, and this looks like it's likely an extension of this Boulder vein. So we're going to go and chase that here this year. And you know what? If it's an extension, fantastic. If it's a new discovery, fantastic. We win either ways. So so between the current resource we have, at our main resource, between the western side, the 800 meters, that I talked about, between the depth that we can get to, and of course this eastern side here, we believe we have a clear path to 1 million+ ounces. Hope you agree. The next part of the story, I believe, is even more exciting, which is there are 15 other high-grade veins known on the property, and that still only encompasses this small area, which is less than 10% of the entire property. So I'm not going to talk about all of them. You can see them here. There's veins here, veins throughout here, swarm of veins. But let's talk about just maybe one or two. If you look at here, this is a Freegold. This is slightly to about a kilometer and a half north of our main area, the Boulder area, and we just started drilling that last week. If you look at this, this is an historical map that we have from back in the 60s of that Freegold. And this is what you're looking at here is 300 meters. And if we look at this, and it may be a little bit hard to see, but if you look at this, these are all in ounces. Okay, these are channel samples. So there's 1.2 ounces over 112 feet. Here's 0.6 ounces over 120 feet. Here's 3.2 ounces over 95 feet. I mean, it's just, the numbers are just just exciting and staggering. So and then if we look at the airborne that came back, there were five new targets that the airborne identified, and we believe there are more. So if you look at them here, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, this has all been news released, and you can take your time and study it and read it, or drop me an email, and happy to discuss further. If we look at this number 5, which is the map that I just showed you, this is Freegold. If we look at that a little bit closer, you can see here the vein right in the middle of this here. And then what's very exciting is that my technical team is very excited in telling me that this here, what's surrounding it, is a classic porphyry signature. So those of you who know a little bit about mining, probably a lot more than me, know that that's a game changer right there if we hit that. And that's just one of 5 targets that we've identified, and we believe there are more. So there's quite a bit that gets us excited and really makes us jump out of bed every morning, that this is a highly prospective property. So to kind of just review, again, I talked about there are 3 keys. One is near production. We believe we're literally months away from making that decision. Number 2, we have a clear path to 1 million+ ounces, and number 3, we have this highly prospective area with not only just the 15 known veins like Freegold, but the rest of the area, which gives us a lot of opportunity to put lots of exploration holes in there, which, as you know and you can appreciate, is what really drives the value in a junior exploration company. And then again, we did a lot of other work, soils. We did a tremendous amount of soil here, and we're going to do a lot more now so we can gain more valuable data and make some great strategic decisions. This is a high-level map of the airborne. You can see here, for reference again, you can see this yellow here. This is the road that I talked about earlier that goes to our property. Here's Freegold right here to give you a scale, and here's Boulder. When we saw this mag feature right here, this was our claim block boundary. And you can see we immediately went and staked all this that night, and thank goodness we did, because the following week we got the EM back. And look at this. Look at the tremendous amount of activities going on here, also in the south of the Boulder. So again, it just goes back to what we're talking about, that there are a lot of areas that are been unexplored. We showed this to a very senior geologist the other day, who's been part of a couple of very, very big discoveries, and he was scratching his head, and he says, hey, how come this is one got away from me? How come I didn't know about this? And that's been the beauty of this project, is it's been really under the radar because it's been private hands for many years. So that's pretty much it in terms of a high level on Dome. You can see here some of the grades again. These are all been news released. We've got anywhere from 15 plus grams over roughly a meter and a half plus to 107 grams. So it's just great numbers for us to work with. Here's some pictures of the mine site. Again, this is not something that's 100-year-old. The people before me took a lot of pride. I mean, look at this. Have you ever seen a mine portal that looks like this? It looks like a ski chalet. And the reason is because the previous owners really took a lot of pride in what they were doing. And when we went up there for the first time to do our due diligence, we were blown away. We were blown away at how well organized and what a great mine site it was. You can see here over 1,000 meters of tunneling already been done. That's millions of dollars of development work that's already been done. So we've got generators and offices and rescue stations. And in fact, a couple of weeks ago, 8 of our team actually completed a rescue safety training course, which is required before you can go into production. So we're getting all the steps in and getting ready to get going here, and which is of course tremendous, because it'll cash flow nicely depending on the price of gold, we believe, and allow us to put several thousand meters a year back into the ground. And then just to wrap up, talk very briefly about a couple other properties that we have that also add a lot of value to our company. We have this property here that I talked about earlier, which is the Big Onion. This is a copper porphyry. You can see here in red, it has already a historical resource of about 690 million pounds, and it's got over $8 million already spent on it, and over 300 drill holes. There are already 2 untested anomalies ready to go, so it's pretty much drill ready. So we're going to figure out how to monetize that with copper hitting new highs, and it's just on a tear, and from everything I'm reading, it looks like it's definitely going to be in play for the next 2 to 5 years with all the infrastructure that governments are announcing, and of course the electric car movement, which takes 4 to 5 times more copper than a regular car. So that's very, very exciting. So to help us monetize that property. And then we've got this property here in central British Columbia called Palair, near Williams Lake. It's a great property. It's got a 20-man camp there. You can see some of the old equipment sitting there as well. This is the property here. It's got 10 high-grade veins. You can see them here. The road, there's a road that leads right up to the property, so access is not a huge issue, and we're going to figure out how to get going on this here in the near future as well. But this is one of my favorites about this property, is this here little pile of dirt that doesn't look like a whole lot. This is actually 25,000 tons of mineralized material. Stockpile that's been sitting there for many years. We went and tested it at surface last year, and we got about 5.5 grams a ton on there, but we believe deeper it's much higher and much better grades. But even at 5.5 grams, the back of the envelope, quick little estimates look pretty good. We don't need any permits to take this out. It's simply a matter of fixing a little bit of the infrastructure. There's a couple of bridges we need to fix. It's less than $200,000. Opening up the road there that has a bit of a mudslide on it, and we can start getting that out. So we're going to be heading up there actually in a couple of weeks and starting trying to look at what we can do. So either later this year, hopefully, we can get that out, and certainly if not, then certainly next year we'll be getting that out. So these are all aspects of the company that add value to our project. And then of course, we've got a great looking treasury still. We've got roughly $3 million still in treasury after we have deployed the $2 million on the amendments, after we spent 7,100 money on 7,100 meters already. We announced a 20,000 meter drill program back in January. We completed 7,100 meters. That's all paid for. We still have roughly $3 million in the bank. I run a very tight ship, so we've got no debt. And you know what? We've got about $5 million in the money warrants. So we're sitting in pretty good shape. And I think that we're very undervalued, which is another reason why I personally added another 1 million shares to my personal position. I don't know, about 3 months ago. I believe we're very undervalued. We're just getting going, and the most exciting part of any exploration company is just before the discovery. As you know, they call that the discovery curve, and I believe we are right there with all the things that we've got going on. We have a very, very busy summer ahead of us. As I mentioned, we just started the drilling program last week, and we are going to look for ways to accelerate that. And I think that we've got a great story, and we hope you keep an eye on us, and hope you agreed with some of the things that I talked about. And so that's it for our story. Happy to take questions and answer whatever may be unclear or on someone's mind.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Rana. I'd like to remind the audience that, yes, at this time we'll be entering the Q&A section. So feel free to ask any questions you like using the Q&A channel on the right-hand side of your screen. So Rana, to start things off, Daniel asks this: have you had dialogues with the authorities during the work with the amendments, or will the documents you submit to them be completely new to them? In short, do they know you are working on getting the mine into production, or will it be a surprise for them?
Great question. Listen, I believe in communication. We are in constant communication with the ministry on a monthly basis, and sometimes a couple of times a week. The inspector, in fact, was just there yesterday to monitor and review and understand the water treatment, just as an example. And he was thoroughly impressed, which is what he said as he left the site. So yes, we are in constant communications with them. They know exactly what we're doing, and there will be no surprises, for them at all.
Great, that sounds awesome, Rana. And Ryan just wants to clarify something, but that she didn't get the news release, even though she's a shareholder. Where can she find that news release?
Our news releases are always published on our website. So that's one way. Of course, there's also CDAR. So our website is www.bluelagoonresources.com. All news releases are there. Of course, we file on CDAR under the company's profile, which is CDAR.com. You can go to Blue Lagoon's profile, and you'll see all the filings there as well.
Always good information to know, I guess. Jonathan asks how many rigs will be turning.
We've got we're started with the first rig, and we're just evaluating to see to add the second rig, because we had 2 rigs going last drill program, and I believe we'll be adding the second rig here shortly.
Wonderful. Trevor asks for a bit of detail on the drill plan sequence and the implication for future financing.
I'm not sure what he means by sequence, but I mean, we have, as I mentioned, we announced a 20,000 meter drill program. We have done 7,100 of that already. We're gonna finish that up with the roughly 13,000 more more to go. We've started that already. We're gonna start at Freegold, and then based on the results, we'll start to see. We've got many targets that we've got in mind, but Freegold is where we want to start. And then, of course, we'll be releasing the results. In terms of financings, I'm going to see how things go. The warrant money is starting to come in. We have a lot of great shareholders, so I've been talking to them, and they are exercising their warrants. So the money is coming in. I have a couple of strategics that I'm speaking to, so I may take a little bit of money if the right parties come to the table and work with us. But no, so far so good. I think we're looking good. We certainly have the money to execute on the plans that I have for this year.
Awesome to hear. Jonathan asks, is there any possibility that the 20,000 meter program this year will be increased?
We'll evaluate as we go along. I've got an incredible team. Our chief geologist, Bill Cronk, was chief geologist for many years for Dundee. He worked for John Robbins Companies, which is one of the greatest geologists known here in Canada, as well as a great businessman. He sold Northern Empire to Coors Mining. That was his last deal. Bill was his chief geologist, so he's an incredible guy. Where I'm going with this is that we have a lot of discussions about how fast we want to move. And one of the things I really like about Bill is that it doesn't matter how much money I throw at him. He always says, he's always like, let's just pause, evaluate, and then move. So yes, we want to move quickly, but we want to move very strategically. So we will evaluate the data after we finish this 13,000 meter drill program, evaluate our position, our treasury position, and make a decision based on that. Now, we do have the opportunity at this property to drill all year round. We can do almost everything all year. We can work underground all year round. So once we're in production, we can certainly operate all year round. We can drill all year round. And of course, we can access the property all year round. So we will. We're not in any rush. We'll get the data. It's going to be a very big summer, and then we'll evaluate. And if we feel it's appropriate to drill more this late fall and winter, we certainly will continue to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Rana. Jonathan asks, Freegold has drilling started last week. How are the intercepts looking, and any feedback from your team yet?
Yeah, I mean, look, we just started last week. So far, so good. We haven't got any assays back yet. We're just starting to ship those out, but without disclosing any undisclosed sort of information, I can say nothing negative. And look, I'm smiling, aren't I? So far, so good.
Awesome, thank you. Edward says this: I wish to invest. What is the minimum stock order to qualify?
Well, there's no minimum, Edward. I mean, you just have to go on whatever broker you use, whether it's a full service broker like a Canaccord or a Mackie or a PI or Haywood, or if you're using one of the discount brokers, the various ones. There's no minimum that I'm aware of. It's just whatever the market is at the time, and whatever you feel is appropriate for your portfolio.
Great, thank you. James says this: how does the porphyria signature improve the finding on airborne mapping? Is it a copper signature, a gold signature? I've been told that British Columbia porphyry is not as profitable as other areas in Canada. I don't know enough really to comment, however. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I'm not the person, but I can certainly give you a high level. There are obviously porphyries in British Columbia, and there is production. So we'll see, and we don't know if it's we know there's a lot of gold associated there, and then obviously there's a potential for a copper. What's interesting is that if you look at the mag, there's a northwest trend going, and wow, Bill's going to say what you're talking about, his area of expertise. But since he's not here, you can see here. Let me just turn on this drawing tool here. You can see here this here. This is very interesting, to us. And of course, Freegold is right in here. So there's a lot of data that is still yet to come in, and we're waiting for. We're accumulating. So all I can say is that, that's exploration. We have to go in there. We have to accumulate as much intelligence as we can, with the data points, connect the dots, and then let the team that I've assembled, go to work for that. So to answer your question, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know the scale of this yet. We don't know the grades yet, but we do know that there's enough there for us to go after. And drilling will tell. I mean, that's ultimately, what we're going to define. Is it a big copper, porphyry? Is it more gold, or is it a swarm of veins? As a couple of other very senior geologists have looked at this trend and have compared it to some other properties of similar nature in Australia and Colombia. So we'll see. We'll see. This year is gonna be a game-changing year for our company. I think is what I'm really getting at.
Wonderful today, Rana. Suresh asks, will you need to do a capital raise in the next 12 months?
So you cut out there for a second. Will we need to do
a capital raise in the next 12 months?
See, and the reason I say that is because there is warrant money. So it depends in how fast that warrant money comes in. As I mentioned earlier, I am talking to a couple of strategic partners, and if that comes together, then it would make sense to take a little bit of money. But we'll evaluate that as we go. But I don't anticipate that we're going to do too many financings in the near future. Like I said, if we take a little bit of money that, along with the warrant money, along with some of the money that's going to come in from these trucks that we're sending out to the mill right now, and plus the current treasury that we have, we think we should be in good shape, until we make that decision to go into production.
Wonderful. Steph asks, when do you anticipate or hope to be in production? The fall?
I think the fall is being a little bit too optimistic. I don't want to, I like to underpromise and overdeliver. So I think that's a little too optimistic. I believe that we'll have all our amendment work done and the application to the government, the amendment application to show them that we've finished everything sometime by the end of August. And I believe, based on my regular conversations with the ministry, I believe, their review process is going to be somewhere around 120 days. So my anticipation is, towards the end of this year. And if we miss it by a month or two, then, we may fall into, January, February. But that's kind of the time frame that I'm looking at.
Great. Eric says this: you've mentioned great people added to your team who liked local work. Who was added?
For example, our mine manager, Roy Evertson, is an incredible individual who's taken such ownership of this. He's worked for us. He's worked on Eskay Creek. I mean, he's got underground mining experience like you wouldn't believe. And we're so fortunate to have someone like him. So he manages the mine. He's the mine manager. That's just one example of the kind of person that we've brought on. We've also just added a senior geologist. Lori lives right in the area, and she's just wonderful. We're so fortunate to have her. And one of her one of the keys was, other than she was excited about the project, one of the really keys was that she family, and she wanted to be home every night. And this gives her the opportunity to drive 50 minutes in, 50 minutes out, and be home every night. So those are two examples of recent additions to our team.
Wonderful to hear. Jonathan asks, have any grades come back from the material being shipped to Nikola?
Well, no, we already know the grades. The grades, and this was also news released a couple of weeks ago. You can read about it there. A couple of years ago, before we got involved, my predecessors sampled the mineralized material. And if you look at it, you'll see they sampled about 5,000, just a little over 5,000 tons of that material. And the weighted average was 13 grams a ton.
Okay. Mark asks, what are your AISC at Dome Mountain?
That's a very tricky question that I can't really answer. And the reason is because around talking about economics, not having some sort of feasibility study. So I'm not dodging this question. All I'm saying is that, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm very careful. There's a lot of rules and regulations around that. So we're not quite there yet, but I can tell you that we have done our own analysis, and there are some documents filed on CEDAR. You can go take a look at our profile, and you'll see in the question you asked may be answered in some of those documents. But we are certainly all the estimates that we've done. We are in line with all the other producers in the country. So perhaps I can just leave it at that. And everything that we've looked at shows us that. So you got to remember, this is a high grade project. So we're talking about 10, 12 grams a ton. And at gold prices that even if they're at 1,750, 1,800, even at 1,700, gold companies are very profitable. And then on top of that, don't forget, we have a lot of silver. We have 1 to 4 gold to silver ratio. And at silver, at the prices that it's at, I mean, that's like free money to us. Right? That's going to pay for all our G&A. So there's a lot of very cool things going on here with this project.
Thank you for that, Rana, and absolutely fair. Nils says that he's also invested in other explorers and that they keep in touch with the First Nations. How is that situation with you?
We have a great relationship with Nations. In fact, half our staff is First Nations. I'm a great believer of making sure that we do everything in our power to be respectful of the land, that we are working on, and be respectful of the community around us. So that's anywhere from First Nations to the town of Smithers. We want to be very good corporate citizens. In fact, this is the mantra that we that we preach and we talk every single day, with our staff, right? That we want to be the best citizens possible, corporate citizens possible, and we're doing that. So we have a great relationship, with the First Nations, so far, and we continue. We are always open, and in fact, we're going to a function here with them here this coming long weekend.
All right, thank you. Greg says, I'm an Eagle Peak guy. Yes, this is a great property. Can you give an estimated cost of production yet?
No, I can't do that. As I mentioned, there's a lot of rules about what we can talk publicly about economics. And of course, Eagle Peak is the company that was well before us that had the project. And we don't have anything to do with Eagle Peak. We actually took over Metal Mountain, but I believe the Eagle Peak shareholders were dividended out some of the Metal Mountain shares, which eventually turned into Blue Lagoon.
Fair enough. Mark asks, when do you expect stock analyst coverage?
That's been challenging because of COVID. We have a number of people, who would like to visit the site. We do have, fundamental research. Did a report on us, very favorable report, and showed us, that they thought we were quite undervalued, and ranked our stock at $1.03, and that was 3 months ago or so. And then there's another company here, another research report that somebody's working on here, shortly, that I believe is coming out. But it's been tough to get, some of these analysts out. They wanted to, but because of COVID, international, travel, I've got a couple guys from the U.S. that really want to come out to the mine site, but of course they can't because of restrictions. And then same thing from Toronto. People are just hesitant because of the COVID, but hopefully that'll turn soon. And we'll get a lot more coverage.
Wonderful, thank you. Jonathan asks, when do you expect to start drilling the Eastern Boulder extension?
That's a good question. We're gonna focus on Freegold right now, and depending on how things are going there and what the treasury looks like, that's likely where we're going to go next. We're also waiting for the final of our what's called our MX permit. So we have a permit already, which is on our lease area where the actual mine is and the Boulder vein is, and we can drill all along that area without any required permits. However, to step out to that, we applied for a what's called an MX permit, a multi-year, 5-year plan. Unfortunately, with COVID, the ministry office is just so behind, and unfortunately, they've had so much turnover of staff that it's just incredible how long this process has taken. However, they've been great. I spoke to the head guy there just last week, and he's on it, and we expect that to get approved here shortly. And then that's one of the things that we need in order to get back onto the Boulder East. So I think we'll certainly see that this summer, but I suspect in the next few weeks we'll start attacking that area as well.
Thank you for that. Jonathan also says this: what was the highest soil sample found around Freegold? The previous release showed greater than 2,500 parts per billion. What were the actual highest grades?
I apologize. I don't have that number in front of me. If Bill was here, I'm sure it's amazing how the geos can remember all this stuff. And I don't have that, but you know what? It is in the news releases. So I apologize. If you could go back to our website and take a look, or go on Yahoo, Finance or something. The numbers are in there.
No, absolutely fair, Rana. Thank you. Rana, I'd like to hand it back to you now for some final words. We've worked our way through all of the questions from the audience at this point. So if I can hand it off to you and leave the audience with your final thoughts.
Sure. Well, thanks so much. Look, if there's more questions, I'm happy to engage. Just go to our website, www.bluelagoonresources.com. There's an email link there. Communicate with me. I'm happy to. I love talking to shareholders or potential shareholders, and then we can answer more there. Your final thoughts. Again, I believe that we are a very prospective company. If you're looking for a good exploration junior to study, to do due diligence on, I believe we should be at the top of your radar. This is why, as I mentioned, I personally have written checks. I've written over $500,000, about $500,000 now into this company. My family, a handful of my closest friends, 5, 6 of them in my family, we put in $2.2 million into this company here at much higher levels, at $1 and above, before COVID hit and before there was such volatility in the markets. So, we believe in this. I think it's one of the keys where management has to be vested, has to be aligned. And you know what? I'm not doing this to, because I need a job. Touch wood. Not to be. I hope you not to be arrogant or anything. So please don't misunderstand me. I'm no big shot. I just work hard. I was very fortunate to put together some very large deals. The last 2 deals that I put together, one which were in the non-resource sector. One is trading currently, at these are 2 companies that I took public. One is currently trading at $12 billion, and the other one just got sold 3 weeks ago for $2.1 billion. Again, these are in the non-resource sector. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my next, a play, and I'm totally, sold on the commodity super cycle. I believe, I got involved in this industry almost 11 years ago at the wrong end. That was when mining was collapsing. But I got a very expensive lesson. But now I'm at the right end. Because I believe that we're just in the beginning of the commodity super cycle. If you believe that as well, then I think that you should be taking a hard look at Blue Lagoon Resources. Ask some tough questions. You've got hard-earned money. You worked hard for it. So I respect that. All I would say is ask some tough questions, do your due diligence, and then if you believe that we are undervalued, as I believe, then I would encourage you to put it on your watch list and talk to your investment advisor and see if this is a right investment for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rana. And to the audience, I also thank you for attending. If you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered, or if you think of one after the summit, don't worry. We'll be sending out a short survey where you can leave your contact information and get into direct contact with Blue Lagoon's team. You can also find more information, as mentioned earlier today, at bluelagoonresources.com. And with that, we're going to finish up today. Rana, thank you again, and I hope everyone has a good day.
Thanks very much for hosting this. I appreciate all you guys at 6, and really have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.